In the quiet coastal town of Seacliff, where fog often draped the streets in a mysterious aura, Officer Sarah O'Connor received a report about a missing young boy. It was a case that would haunt her and unravel a truth beyond her wildest imagination. Sarah had always been fascinated by optics, the way light played tricks on the eyes. As she patrolled the misty alleys, something caught her attention. On the wall of an old building, there was a perfect mirror image of her police cruiser, but it seemed alive, crawling up the bricks as if it had a mind of its own. "That's odd," she muttered, stepping out of the car to get a closer look. The reflection moved with her, mimicking her every step. "Hello?" she called out, her voice echoing in the narrow lane. No response, only the sound of her own footsteps and the distant seagulls. Back at the station, Sarah couldn't shake off the strange feeling that image gave her. She decided to dig deeper, driven by her curiosity and a growing sense of unease. "This isn't natural," she thought, her eyes narrowing as she studied the photos she'd taken of the phenomenon. "Hey, Sarah," a colleague interrupted her train of thought. It was Mike, another officer on duty. "You all right? Look like you've seen a ghost," she sighed. "Not really, Mike. I found something weird during my patrol, a mirror image of my car, but it moved." Mike raised an eyebrow. "A living reflection? That's a new one. Maybe you should get some rest, mate." He chuckled, patting her shoulder. But Sarah couldn't dismiss it so easily. She had a feeling, a gut instinct that something sinister was happening in Seacliff, and she was determined to get to the bottom of it. Sarah's investigation led her to the town's library, a place of sanctuary for those seeking knowledge. She spent hours poring over books on optics, dimensions, and mirror anomalies, her eyes scanning pages filled with complex theories and strange tales. "This is getting me nowhere," she sighed, leaning back in her chair. Just then, an old newspaper clipping caught her eye. It was an article from decades ago reporting on a series of mysterious disappearances in Seacliff. The victims were described as if they'd vanished into thin air, leaving behind only their reflections in windows and mirrors. "Could it be?" Sarah whispered, her heart racing. She needed more answers, and that's when she remembered Adam Black, a renowned investigative journalist known for his knack for solving the unsolvable. They had crossed paths at a conference once, and his reputation preceded him. She pulled out her phone, dialing his number with steady fingers. After a few rings, a gruff voice answered, "Black speaking." "Adam, it's Sarah O'Connor. We met briefly at the journalism conference last year. I need your help." There was a pause, and then Adam's voice became intrigued. "Go on, Officer O'Connor, you've got my attention." Sarah explained the strange mirror phenomenon and her theory about the missing people. "It's like they're being pulled into another dimension, Adam. I think these reflections are some kind of portal." "Fascinating," Adam whistled. "I'm in. Meet me at the old lighthouse tomorrow dusk. That's where one of these portals seems to be concentrated." As Sarah hung up, a shiver ran down her spine. She knew she was about to step into a world where reality twisted and turned and nothing would ever be quite the same again. The old lighthouse stood tall and proud, its beacon long silent, as Sarah and Adam approached at dusk. The air was thick with anticipation, and the sea crashed against the rocks below, as if echoing their racing hearts. "Here's where it gets weird," Sarah whispered, pointing to a large mirror perched on the edge of the cliff. It reflected the setting sun, but the image flickered, distorting the landscape. "I've seen this before. It's like a portal." Adam nodded, his eyes fixed on the mirror. "And if we're right, it might just be our ticket to finding the missing people and stopping whatever is responsible." They stepped closer, their shadows stretching across the rocky ground. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the reflection, its form distorted and eerie. It was Dr. Victor Lane, a local scientist known for his controversial experiments. "You!" Sarah exclaimed, her hand instinctively reaching for her handcuffs. "What have you done?" Dr. Lane's eyes widened, a mix of panic and madness. "You shouldn't be here. This is my masterpiece, my gateway to infinite possibilities." Adam stepped forward, his voice firm. "We know what you've been doing, Victor. The disappearances, the reflections, it ends now." The scientist laughed, a chilling sound that echoed in the lighthouse. "And this is only the beginning. I've opened doors to worlds beyond our own, but there's a price." As he spoke, the mirror rippled and dark shapes began to emerge, their screams distorted by the glass. Sarah realized with horror that they were the missing people trapped in this twisted dimension. "You've got to close it," she shouted to Adam, her voice trembling. "We have to save them." Sarah and Adam knew they had to act fast. With the missing people's lives at stake, they devised a plan to shut down Dr. Lane's experiment once and for all. "We need to disrupt the portal's energy source," Adam explained, rummaging through his bag of tricks. "I've got just the thing." He pulled out a small device, a custom-built electromagnetic pulse generator. "This should do the trick." As Dr. Lane ranted about his vision, the dark figures in the mirror pleaded for help, their voices faint and desperate. Sarah's heart ached for them. She had to act. "Ready?" she asked Adam, her hand steady on the device. He nodded, positioning himself beside her. Together they activated the pulse generator, a blinding flash of light erupting from the lighthouse. The mirror shattered, and the dark shapes dissipated, returning the missing people to their rightful dimension. Dr. Lane staggered back, his experiment in ruins. "You fools!" he cried, but his voice was weak, his madness fading. "You'll never understand the power you've unleashed." Sarah approached him, her eyes cold with determination. "We understand enough. You're coming with us, Victor. The world doesn't need your twisted science." As they led Dr. Lane away, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Her life would never be the same again, but she had helped bring an end to a nightmare, and that was enough for now. The town of Seacliff returned to its peaceful state, the fog rolling in and out, carrying with it no hint of the darkness that had once lurked within its borders. But Sarah O'Connor would always remember. and her eyes would forever search for the truth hidden in plain sight.